Alright, so I'm gonna be watching the series between Gigs or Lecastete against Absolute Utopia, and they're kicking off on the map called Manchuria. We see Utopia playing Chinese, and Gigs is playing Houdinese. So this map is an excellent map for playing Houdinese, or I guess you should call them Haudenosaunee. I assume he's just gonna do the bee fisher build, where you just go for a dock straight away, get some fishing boats. They Haudenosaunee really likes to play this map. Like, I think they're a lot better on a map with a little bit of water instead of just playing on a land map. And Utopia, I'm not too familiar with. I think he's a player from China. So I'm not talking about civilization, but I mean that he actually lives in China, I think. I think this is the first seed against the fourth seed. But the last time I guessed it the first against the fourth seed, we saw a big upset coming, so perhaps I get to see the same thing again. And so these two double yak spawns are pretty important on this map. Seems like these haven't been picked up yet. And Giggs went to the top of the map straight away and even stole a cow, so he might get a lot of them. I think one of the main reasons to pick China on this map is because you can get the cows and you can fatten them on the village. So losing all these cows is pretty important for him. This could turn into a bit of a treasure contention though. Harrison, if you can hear me, you can just type exclamation point title, and then you can just change the title. Yeah, let's see we get this wood treasure. It's 80 wood, which is basically another fishing boat for Haudenosaunee. And China seems to get it, which is gonna help him a lot as well. He's not doing any kind of crazy Mido build where you try to get a third village before shipping this to get an extra villager. But just having the wood in the bank for later is gonna be helpful. So nobody found these double jack spawns yet, or I'm just gonna call them cows because it's easier. His disciple's still running around though, he should find these. And perhaps this cow will even run into these two. Yeah, he's gonna spot this as well. So if he gets all these cows, he still has a reasonable amount. Meanwhile, we see Tete going for 4 fishing boats, gonna age with 19 vills. And basically with this build, you're not really delayed. Oh, it's gonna age 20. I think your age up time is like slightly delayed, but you do have 4 extra vills basically, so it's a very strong build. Utopia finding another wood treasure, so that's gonna be awesome for him. I think he has had a pretty good H1, getting 2 of the big wood treasures on the map. Thank you, Harrison, for working that out. Putting a lot of vills on the Wonder. I wonder if that means he's gonna do something aggressive. I don't play China myself, but I believe people just usually build it with 1 vill instead of 4. I could be wrong. Maybe someone in chat can tell me if 4 is just the standard thing to do, or... Alright, it's the standard, alright. Apparently I'm just mistaken and this is just the standard, so... It's just me lacking a bit of game knowledge. He is sending Vils forward though. And he's gonna see these cows. So he might do some sort of water contest. He doesn't see it yet, but I think you can basically blindly assume that people are doing it, because that's basically the reason that people pick Haudenosaunee on this map. Yeah, even without having it scouted, you can. I would just be confident that your opponent is fishing a little bit. So this castle could also be built like around the shore instead, to aid on the water fight a bit, but he decides to just put it here. It's a little bit more difficult for me to cast when people are playing civs that I'm not that familiar with. In terms of, I mean, I know what the civs can do roughly, but I don't play them myself. But Gix is basically just placing his warhead right in his base and just gonna try to get an ego advantage and play it a bit slow, it seems like. And he is gonna find these two cows, which Utopia could have probably picked up long ago, but he never saw them. So what's he gonna do with the castle? Alright, he's shipping steppe riders, going for the Mongolian army, which I believe is 2 steppe and 2 kashyyyks. Kashyyyks? I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like the bow rider sort of cap unit. Yeah, and Gix is shipping for Kanye West, so then these units can be pretty useful. They're relatively weak units, but they do have 3 times multiplier against Cav. So that's basically the only unit that they're actually good against. Alright, I don't think this is a fight you want to take as China. Steppe Riders are just not particularly strong cavalry, so just 4 Thomas and melee are going to do a lot of damage against them. So it's a good decision to just run away. Picking up this 150 coin. He might... Yeah, he's looking to age up. So I assume the main reason he built the castle is just to have a forward shipment point, and he intends to play a bit aggressive. And maybe he wants to train a couple hand mortars. So basically just going for a 7-steppy semi-FF. Meanwhile, Gix is getting the wood upgrade, and I believe this is a relatively expensive one. I'm just sitting on 6 fishing boats, trying to push out a bit. He hasn't spotted this. Oh, he just barely didn't see this. It's insane how close that was. So what happened? Okay, the army's over here. He might be able to clean this up. He has this army out from the Summer Palace. Maybe he could call Minutemen as well. He does have the resources for it. Not having Vils on the Wanderers reduces your age of time by a lot. So yeah, he's getting back on it now. I think if he wants to fight this army, he should just call Minutemen and then he has a chance. Otherwise, Steppies are just not going to be able to cut it. But in the meantime, he has all these cows fattening up, so these are gonna excel his eco by a lot once they are fully fattened. And somehow Gix just never managed to spot this. Like it almost looks as if he scouted in a circle around it, which is pretty funny. Like this might be another another shot at randomly spotting the vills.
Ah,
Like if this
Sega.
one just happens to completely pat around or something. Oh, the vills actually left. Okay. So yeah, Tete is also gonna be trying to age up here, it looks like. He went for stagecoach behind this as well. So 8 fishing boats, shipping the 5 vills, stagecoach boom, like his economy is really strong. And that's why he just built his infrastructure in base, and he just gonna try to age up here and then try to hold the China push, which is probably coming. Um, he aged up with the Confusion Academy, so he didn't go for the Trickle Wonder, but just gonna try to play it aggressive. You get the skirms from the age up, and you get the Flying Crow production going. Training the Black Flag Army. What is that? Meteor Hammers and Chengdaos. Okay. It's a player from China with like, I mean, he's pretty high up on the ladder, but I don't know too much more about him. So it's pretty hard for me to give you more details about him. He's getting the consulate. I imagine he's gonna go into Brits and then go intervention. Yeah, he's gonna go intervention, try to get the 9 redcoats. Game is running a little bit slow, but when I click on there, it goes too fast, so it seems like we're just gonna have to watch it slightly delayed. Gig shipping Force Prowler in the meantime. He's in a little bit of trouble here. At least the Warhawk stays off for now, so he can keep production going. He has the resources to put things in queue. Yeah, he has the double Warhead. So it's all gonna be about the reinforcements for him, because this fight I don't think it's gonna go too well for him. Actually, the Tomahawks did get a lot of damage immediately on the calf. He managed to clean up most of the calf. And now these redcoats are not the reinforcement that you want. Like this, in hindsight, he would have really wished he had 5 meteor hammers right now. And it's up to Tete to make as much use of these little 4 plows that he has. He has 5 on total, but they're a little bit awkwardly split off. But if he can keep them out of range of this army, he's going to be able to do a lot of damage with them anyway. Okay, shipping Kanye forward. He should clean this up. Let's see what China's follow-up is. Alright, he's shipping the meteor hammers now. It's close fights, but in the meantime we have the TC Fire helping out, Warhound is also shooting. And if the fights extend for a while, this sort of damage really adds up. But now all the cows are fattened, so he's gonna have a big boost in economy for a little bit. And I think this is gonna be his window to remass a lot and then try and go in. Whereas Gig's eco was mainly idled for a bit. He still had the stagecoach running, and of course the fishing boats are always working. I think the trades overall went into Gig's favor, but still looking at a close game.
Yes.
Yeah, so he just trained 6 redcoats using the export. And now it's going to be a decision of, is he going to spend their res, or is he going to try to go H4? And it looks to me like he wants to try and go for H4. I'm that unfamiliar with China that I kind of just have to check the cards. Yeah, that's the one that I was looking for. So, looks like he wants to go for Old Hand, which used to be, back in the day on RE, like one of the most broken things in the game. It's still pretty strong, but it's not what it used to be. But now that he's getting pushed, he looks like he decides to put units in queue instead of trying to age up. So he's probably kicking himself for stacking all his res. The flying crow is going to be pretty important here. Alright, so he did cancel the badge, and now he just bought some food in the market. And he's going to get that age up in queue. Getting the porcelain tower, which is going to give him a lot of extra res. So he just put something in queue in case the fight continued, but as soon as he saw Tete leaving, he just cancelled it straight away and went for the age up. Porcelain Tower, I think the later you get it, the higher the trickle is. And of course it depends on which res you have it, depending how many vills seconds you get. So putting it on wood is usually the most efficient. Alright, he's gonna lose his market. Not shouldn't really be a problem, and he's already pretty close to aging up. Putting all the vills on the Wonder, like the maximum amount, which is 8. But this is an important window for Tete. He knows he has the army advantage because his opponent is aging. So this is probably the perfect time for him to take a fight. But this flying crow is staying alive for a while. And having to kill it with range units takes a lot longer than being able to melee it down. So even though this is still a good fight for Tete, I think, considering that you just put all this resource into age up and you haven't been able to use the age up yet, this was still like a pretty decent fight. So he's really gonna try to just go into the Old Hand army. He has this on food, so in general you want to put things on wood, but it looks like he doesn't have any hunt whatsoever left. So it makes sense. It's really important for him to be able to get some vills on this hunt. And I wonder if Tete knows about that. Tete taking a lot of fire here from the Chukunu. Seems like he is AFKing his army a little bit. His, yeah, I think he lost like 7 or 8 photo spies there, so that hurt him quite a bit. Alright, so desperately dropping a village here, trying to take control of this hunt. And then, if you can get enough vills over there, then you can start putting this on wood, which makes it a lot more efficient. So for those unfamiliar with this card, it basically makes your units a lot better, 50%, which is an insane buff, but it also increases their cost. So, in a perfect... Oh, this was a big pike pop. Well, I'm not sure it was the right decision, but he went for it. So this was the 21 pike shipment, and he just basically lost all of them. He did pick up a couple of cav units, sorry for being a little bit late on checking that. But I think he should have just shipped it to the DC and just keep them alive. Anyway, the point that I was trying to make is that it makes your units more expensive and a lot stronger. So in a perfect world, you're just going to get to max population first, and then you ship the card. So that the higher cost doesn't hurt you that much. So it looks like he has to rebuild all his infrastructure. He just can't contest his army at this time. If this game goes long, you would like to get the factory from the consulate. I believe you can get it if you go to the German allies. So now this is in wood, and if you compare this to the vills, it's basically 10 vills, because they have a singular wood upgrade. Yeah, thanks for correcting me. Yeah, it's the Russian allies that can give you the factory, and then the German one is the trickles. Yeah, that's it. So his Explorer is actually a very important unit for China. You can put it in cover mode, and you basically just have a 3600 HP tank. So just laying under your opponent DC is can cost you a lot. Because it's even pretty common for people to send a shipment where you can get a second Explorer out, and you just put them both in cover mode, and they're just absolutely insane. So just not having this in the fight is gonna be quite a big deal. Meanwhile, Giggs is just messing up. He's not gonna go follow up to H4. He's just content playing this out in H3. This summer playlist did get repaired before, so it's not no longer a low HP. And I wonder if this is where he's gonna go for the old hand card or not. Yeah, he does. So this is where you really wish you still had the pikes alive. I think he basically lost all the 21 of the shipment. He would have had a ton more units if he just shipped those to the TC. And let's see if it matters that he's sort of low on anti-cav or siege. But just before this card, you want to be able to train as much units as you can, because it's gonna be more expensive soon. I wonder if it shows up on the cost. Yeah, you can see it change from 85 foot to 107 foot, but their damage just went up by a lot as well. And I guess they say that the pikes cost wood, yeah. This is still a close game though, because these units are pretty powerful once fully upgraded. This flying crow might be picked off if that realizes. No, it's gonna be fine. No, actually, he really needs the pikes. So Tete is just gonna try to pick up the pikes, I assume, and then hopefully go in with his Kanye Wests. He has all the musket riders going forward though. Oh, a big batch of reinforcement Kanye West coming in. So yeah, he's just picking up all the pikes. The pikes are not in cover mode or anything, they're just taking the fight head on. And it feels to me like China is just running out of anti-cav. So if Tete can also finish this batch, he does. At least he spends everything that he got on it. This looks to be like a cleanup for Tete. He's also attack dancing with a couple of villagers. And he does have his explorer in the fight. For both these civs, I think their explorers are extremely important units. Like I can't think of a different civ which relies on their explorer this much. Maybe Lakota. But if you just have this guy in the fight, in cover mode and tanking 3600 health, it can be a real pest to just... Like, you're just always... Your unit's always gonna end up shooting him at least a little bit. Like, you can micro as well as you can, but... It's pretty impossible to just avoid never firing at him. Alright, he's shipping the curse now, and these guys got their veteran status back. Like 2 patches ago, when they made the curse weaker for friends, they were also a lot weaker for Houdinays. But these days, they changed it back to just the proper stats. So they're strong again. Yeah, just trying to get rid of the anti-cav. And you can see that he's only on 2 pikes and 2 musk and dwindling. Oh, and a big batch of reinforcement. Oh, never mind. I find it a bit hard to tell the difference sometimes in terms of looks between the Kanye West and the Musket Riders. They look pretty similar to me. Yeah, so he's completely out of hands. I think he still has all the fills built up here. So he's completely out of food. He has this trickling in food a little bit, but I think this might turn out to be the end of the game, just because he he doesn't have the food to keep production going. And he's also out of the big H4 shipments. So he's gonna get a shipment now, but what are you really gonna ship? Yeah, these fills are gonna have trouble getting back home. Just gonna try to run them to this village, but in the meantime he will lose a lot of them. And even if it gets there, like, what are you gonna do with your villagers? Like, you really need to have a hunt. And Gig still has plenty of hunts left because he has been fishing. Right, shipping the crows and then also gonna pop one, so... where did he ship them? He shipped them here. These are just gonna get right-clicked, I'm pretty sure. Just barely doesn't see them, but... This game looks to be over to me. I just can't see a way for China to get an army going. He's dropping some rice paddies, trying to get some food in. Yeah, the thing with these units, like, you can tell them apart. Like, they do have their differences, but if it's like in a hectic moment or something, it can be difficult to distinguish them from each other. At least for me. He just constantly... Oh, he does see it. Okay. I was gonna say he just constantly barely doesn't see them. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that this army is not gonna be enough to defend. I think these flying crows can just get right-clicked here, and then they do get a couple nice volleys on the forest flowers. But yeah, I imagine this has got to be it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, just running out of hounds is just it's always a big deal, and then if you're the player that has to transition to making rice paddies while your opponent is still hunting and fishing and everything, he's gonna have a lot of momentum on you. So pretty nice game. It was close for a long time in my opinion. And you can just see the eco pulling ahead. So this is where the 21 pikes got shipped, I think. Yeah, this has got to be the pike shipment. And you just see them all instantly dying again without really picking off anything. So he's probably kicking himself for not just shipping that at home to his town center to a village there instead. And that's it for game 1. So let's head into game 2. Let me win. Let me not win. Let me know if everything is okay in terms of sound levels and everything, like game sound, my voice. You can hear everything right. All right. Dutch against Russia. All right. Feels to me kind of like the matchup of the month. I've been seeing it a lot more recently. So I think this matchup, we can see that Tete is playing as the Russians. And the Russians usually just want to play aggressive, contain your opponent, like get your blockhouse somewhere here. And for Dutch, it's mostly about having, like, you want to have a good base building. Kind of like, if you guys, any of you guys seen the Maido game, yeah, I think he did an excellent job. Where you just try to block everything with banks, you maybe even get a couple wall segments, or get your market, like just completely get yourself in this position where your opponent just can't get inside. So I imagine that's going to be the name of the game, but we'll see what happens. Tete working on this XP treasure. And it looks like he still has a scratch field, so just going to be able to pick that up. And meanwhile, Dutch is going to get 60 food. So this does mean he gets this trickle quite a bit faster. He already has his first shipment in. Quite a bit of idle time, popping the vills in and out. And maybe a little bit early on herding, but at least this guarantees that you're gonna have the hunt on your TC. So yeah, so this map is always a little bit of a weird one, at least in my opinion, because in terms of stagecoach, there's just no way of ever taking this TP unless you completely nuke the base. So stagecoach ideas usually don't feel great on this map. You're just gonna give your opponent a TP as well. But it could still be an option. I mean, it's probably the best eco option that Russia has. Picking up this native scout. And I think these guys are extremely good in good players' hands. So when I have this treasure, I usually just somehow end up running it into the enemy base and wasting it. But I've seen good players use this, and they will just have it invisible in the right place at the right time at multiple instances in the game. So Giggs has a basically idleless 14 fill H up. At least I didn't really see him a lot of idle time. And Utopia is just macroing towards the bank. He has a hunt under his TC. Or basically two hunts. It's a starting hunt and the one that he got from here. We're gonna get this native scout into invisible. What do you call it? Like invisible status, I guess. Gonna get this 80 XP treasure just before Utopia arrives, but he's gonna be able to get the snare off. So I wonder if he's gonna bring over the native scout to try and pull trick, or he's just gonna keep it here. Some idle time.
Commando?
Oh, it looks like he managed to break the snare, so he's fine actually. I just realized that I forgot to update the scoreboard. So let me give Tete 1 point. Alright, so what is Tete gonna start off with? 5 Cossack. And yeah, he's mining some gold, so it looks like this is gonna be 5 muskets as well. Alright. So 5 Cossacks pretty standard, and then you can just decide between going strelets or muskets. And Utopia is just going 700 wood. And it does look to me like his base is still pretty open at this time. He hasn't been doing like I was mentioning, for example, about Mido, where everything is just completely locked off. He does manage to get another hunt under his TC, so he's gonna have hunts for a very long time if he manages to hold. And now it's just gonna be about dealing with this pressure.
Yeah.
He has one field that's exposed, but that they won't be able to see it. A little bit of an unlucky back hurt, which could really be a pain for him at some time, maybe. So he's just going 700 with back wagon, not going CM or unit shipments or anything. He does find the native scout, but he just barely doesn't kill it. He's gonna lose a house, but he's making a stable here. With Dutch, it's always really important to get a market up as well. So he's basically only lost a house so far, and of course all the idle time on the vills. But it wasn't like he was fully in his TC, he had most of his vills gathering. And meanwhile, Tete is following up with stagecoach, so he shipped wood. He's got a market, he's got hunting dogs and shipping gold here. So he's trying to just take all the TPs that he can. Like I said, this is the only one that he can't get. And Utopia is training some hus. So he needs to get these hunts back into his base. I guess hunt will last him another couple minutes, but gonna be rough for him once it runs out. Alright, shipping pikes. Dropping his market quite far forward. So if Gig sees this, he could siege it without being in TC fire. So it looks like he wants to play this out in H2. Shipping the 8 pikes, and I think he's just gonna train some skirms and hus here. And he's sending these boys out to raid, but that will most likely just be spotted here.
Ik voel me nu wat sterker.
Shipping 13 Strelet, and just training Musk. Yeah, this is we should have vision of everything coming.
Готов.
And he spots it. So no, he's getting steel traps now. And then he can just have a lot of production going with just putting these on wood and your veils on food. He's probably looking to train Strelets and Cossacks mostly. And they're just kind of passing each other here. This is gonna be a really difficult fight for Utopia. Trying to pull trick with his Huss. But this mass is just slightly more units than it. Oh, it's one more unit, so then you can't pull trick. He went 7 on coin, so I imagine he's gonna just gather this all up and then try and hit go H3. It feels to me like this 8 bike shipment hasn't really been doing what he wanted to accomplish with it. I imagine if he shipped 7 on coin instead of 8 bikes, and then you could already be H3 and ship 9 Reuters, for example, instead of bikes. And I don't think he should be out here at all, like his army is quite a lot smaller. Lucy Gix is messing up. Yeah, this is like the classic mistake of trying to hit up but also pushing out. Like if you're aging, you should always play a bit passive at the time, because it means you're missing a lot of res. So your army is just way smaller. So he managed to get out unscathed the last time, basically, but he's putting himself in the rough position back again. Tete even going Boyars now, which will make his units quite a lot stronger. And yeah, this is a card you basically want to be shipping at this sort of moment when you're really getting a mess going. And then the Strelets and Cossacks both got quite a significant buff. Yeah, this market was built in a bit of a strange position, so that means he loses it. And market is quite a nice building for Dutch to have, because it's quite common that you just miss macro a bit because of all the banks. Or just like you quickly want to buy some wood to get a house or something. And Tete just sees the age up and he's just trying to right click everything right now. Minutemen coming in. So he's training Huss, but he's not gonna have the food for it though. It looks to me like Russia's mass is not really dwindling just yet. Storm Reuter is what he needs though, so if he can just kite this out, this could be a decent fight for Dutch. I think from this point, Gix just wants to go pure Strelet basically. Strelet trade really cost efficiently against this sort of army. But he's losing a lot of Musk on the way out. But this was a pretty good fight for Utopia in the end. He managed to get the 9 Reuters shipment just in time to protect his skirms, and now the skirms are getting a lot of value. Trying to contest this TP once again. He should probably think about getting his TP of his own. It's shipping Huss, so it looks like he wants to do some sort of Huss switch, maybe even get veterancy right now. Yeah, he does. scores being close is always a bad sign when you're playing against Russia. And I think this is... he's even aging at the moment. I imagine he's gonna cancel these 4 Cossack. I think you would much prefer to keep your shipments for H3. Alright, he does decide to ship them anyway. I mean, he will have another shipment, but I imagine it... Okay, I guess he's right. I guess he just needs the meds right here, right now. Not sure. Like, even though he still has a shipment, I would have preferred to just be able to ship 2 shipments back to back in H3. 4 Cossack seems like a little bit of a waste. Alright, so just going to Falks here. And Dutch losing quite some units in the process of taking down his TP. And it's all kind of depends on whether he can kill the Falks with Huss or not. I don't imagine he's gonna be able to go an artillery foundry right now. I mean, he could, but it would be a bit of a random gamble. Like if your opponent, if you're making a call and then your opponent just ends up not... Oh, these could be in danger though. Never mind, it's fine. Alright, so he does see the Falks now. So this is basically where you have to decide, do I drop an artillery foundry of my own and maybe get a call out? Or do I just go really hard on the Huss? And in my opinion, I would probably just go Cav combat here. You have 14 Huss, you try to get another batch of Huss, you go Cav combat, and Russia units kind of struggle against Cav combat veteran Huss. So I think this is a mistake, and also not putting Huss in queue. He's changing it to helps, okay. That could work out maybe. Helps can just kind of sort of right click in there. I would personally still prefer the Cav combat, but I like this better than the skirms. Alright, so little bit of a awkward position. I guess he really wants to have this hunt, which is why he's maneuvering his army to the side. But yeah, you're just gonna be losing banks and stuff. And you're... Okay, this could be a huge raid though. So, Tete not falling back. He's just gonna sack quite a bit of vills here. Let's try it. He does lose all these reinforcements. And I think Tete started this off with being on 45 vills. Alright, so the raid is massive, but now the question becomes how are you gonna deal with the army? So I think he's skilled 17, 18 vills, something like that. But also losing vills of his own and not able to reinforce his army. Like everything he made and the whole shipment and everything should probably just be chilling over here, waiting for the big fight to happen. But he lost the reinforcements, he also lost a lot of vills, he also lost 2 banks. So now that both their economies are in a little bit of that position, it's just going to be decided by who can kill each other's army. So in terms of economy, they're somewhat on equal footing. Equal vills, but 1 bank against 2 TPE stagecoach. Alright, he's really going for it now. I think it seemed like he was thinking about trading envoys, but probably wants to wait for the 15-minute man. So I think this... I really like this, actually. Big surprise, I see CM and I like it. But I think his idea is to train envoys, pop 15-minute man and then right click everything at the same time. Maybe even pop the fills. I mean, he's completely out of bank, so it's gonna be now or never. Alright, he's calling it.
Hello?
Deciding not to train the envoys. Guess he forgot about it. Gonna turn off Fog of War. But there's just a lot of Russia stuff. Skirms are kind of focusing the Cossacks, which means the muskets are staying alive. So if you ever wonder what counters Falconets, I was talking about dropping Artillery Foundry, but the real answer is just to train 15-minute men. I think this army really wants to kite right now. You want to keep these riders alive and the skirm alive and just start fighting at max range. But all the riders got cleaned up, so if there's any Cossacks coming, no. Looks like he's training Cav archers instead. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Cav archers make sense as well, he feels like, as long as he just doesn't die to a Cav switch and keeps his threads alive. Yeah, this should be game. So I still think that the main mistake for Dutch was not getting Cav combat and just messing up Haas even more than what he did. And in H2 we saw that he went for the 8 pikes and that also didn't pay off. But still, this is always a bit of a close matchup. I think originally it's always been Russia favored, but these days it might be Dutch favored. It's hard to say. Let's head into game 3. Some nice comments in the chat. It's always good to see some friendly chat going on. Alright, so we're playing Alaska. Utopia was like, well, if you can play Russia, then I can do it too. And we have India coming out as well. So I wonder if any of these guys have any sort of water plans. Never checked how many wheels there are on this map. It's like what, like 4? Yeah, seems like 4. Let's see if they find any good treasures. This one is 80, 90 wood, I think. Yeah, I was gonna say 80, but 90. So I don't really know how this matchup works. I imagine you're just gonna make an aggro fort at home as India. And Russia's the one playing aggressive. But I've been wrong before. Seems like there's hardly any good treasures that spawn. Like this 90 wood is the only one I've really seen so far. There's a lot of these explorer HP stuff. He's gonna be able to get this. Yeah. 50 coin, and then this should probably be a wood treasure as well. Yeah. So these are like the last 2 good treasures left. What is this? 90 foot. All right. So all the good treasures are on Tete side actually. It's pretty funny how he just goes onto the map first because you want to be able to spot the enemy treasures, and by doing so he just found all these bad treasures, and then in fact all the good ones are on his own side. He does see this wood now, which is gonna help him out. Oh yeah, isn't this the matchup that Prince and Perez played? That was an awesome game. Alright, picking up the wood treasure. It's gonna enable him to just get all his vills off of wood now, and he does. And then you can train a vill now, and then with the 80 wood treasure combined with the triple, you will be able to get another vill in queue in time. So this is basically perfect macro coming out. Picking up the the 2 sheep treasure. Right, so a little bit of idle time, but I think it's pretty normal to have a little bit of idle time with Russia. And this is all basically always going to be the 400 wood. I don't believe any of the other Russia AoE really make any sense compared to aging up with 400 wood. And then yeah, this is just going to be dagger 4 at home. Now you get all your vills back on wood, so you can get a market and get the tax. He also spots this food treasure as well. And the 50 coin treasure is really nice because it just means that you can get the, I think it's called, actually I don't remember the name, but you can just get the market tag for all resources. The one that costs 50, 50, 50 of everything. I read a sentence saying, the dude's in his 80s, man, probably busy with bingo. And I was like, wait, are you talking about me? Am I missing something? But you were actually talking about Vinny. I have seen Vinny play on DE. I played him in Quick Search twice. And I asked him if he wanted to play some team, but he had an excuse ready. He said that he doesn't have a lot of times on his hands anymore. So he's not really active. I haven't seen him since, so I'm not sure if he still plays a little bit or not. Alright, so a little bit of idle time on the field production, but that's okay. Well, now it's gonna be a bit more idle time with the walls coming in as well. But this wall will help him. It basically means that Russia has to path this side, like it's way too risky to try and squeeze your army through a choke like that. And alright, apparently in this matchup you train Gurkha, which makes a lot of sense, but not something that I actually realized. So it's all going to be about being able to pick up this Cossack with your Aggro Forward, your TC Fire, 2C Poi, having your heroes in the mix. You would probably want to get this one back home. And meanwhile, you're just going to see a push with 5 Cossacks and 10 Strelets. He's going to run into the bad news and see the wall. Yeah, this joke is just too small, and Tete even walling here. So these walls are gonna do a lot for him. You can even see these 2 Cossacks pathing around now. He did ship 700 coin. Wood. But yeah, he's just gonna call the melee Minutemen. I imagine these are the melee one. Yeah, and he's just gonna try to keep his Gurkhas alive. And just constantly firing at the Cossacks. Dropping a consulate. So I guess he's gonna ship export now. We're doing quite a good job holding here. He hasn't... Well, I was gonna say he hasn't lost any vills, but I literally see it that one, so... But he has barely lost vills, and he's holding off this pressure quite well. Might lose a second will, depends how it's bad. Yeah, it should be dead. Russia is following up with wood.
Что? Здравствуйте.
He got his hunting dogs. He might be looking to get steel trap soon. Yeah, these threads are just gonna die eventually.
Я ранен. Не могу и...
Alright, so he's got the consulate, and he can choose to go either Brits or autos. Yeah, he just goes for autos. And then you can just decide between getting the Vils or the Hussar, or even the Minutemen. It seems to me like he is hold on quite nicely. Right, now shipping coin. So no schooner action or anything. Adding a stable, so it looks like he just gonna use this coin to reinforce his units, getting steel traps. Just try and put all your Vils on food and train as much units as you can with this this gold shipment coming in. That they use to export to get Hussars. And he's also adding a stable. So probably just going Gurkhazam. Possibly trading some sowars. Now getting his trickle in as well. So he's been able to use up all the 700 wood. Just keep your Vil production going, get some houses, get a consulate, get a stable. He sees the coin. So that might make him believe that his opponent is looking to age. Even though it's not the case. So I think this is nice for Tete. Just gives him time to get a mess going, get his eco, like his market tax and everything going. He has most of them. Well, you got all the first ones. Alright, quite an early Boyars. I think you probably want to have more units before you ship Boyars. Yeah, he was cancelling it, a little bit hesitant. I think maybe this is where you go 13 Strelad first, but it's still a very good upgrade, so. He doesn't have any Musk, which means Boyars will... He does have Musk. He hardly has any Musk, so that means that Boyar is gonna attack most of his units. But he's just gonna have so much trouble getting into this base. Like Gurkhazam behind the walls, behind the Necker fort. Like how do you really get in? So these Gurkhas are just gonna make use of the fact that they have a higher range to swell it. Losing a lot of units basically for free. Gonna attempt to run these Cossack through this small choke. But he has the Zams back home. I think this is where you even consider as kicks to just pop some of the Vils. Like Russia units don't do great against Vils, but he's calling the Ottoman Minutemen as well. Yeah, this is gonna be easy. Easy to fade off the pressure, is what I meant. Now the Hussars are back home as well. just this one hussar alone is gonna be a pain because you can't kill it with credits. And now I think this game is probably over. Like, I don't see a way to deal with this in the army. Like, I feel like he hardly killed a thing in this push. And Tete is making some swords as well. He did ship coin, so this is basically decision time. Like, do you want to H or do you just want to mess up and play it out in H2? It seems to be going for messing up. I see a couple harsh words towards Utopia in the chat, but yeah, I think, you know, I don't think he's been playing poorly at all. I think actually he's been playing pretty well. Tete is just one of the best players in the tournament, and you know, sometimes you just run into one of the better players. You shouldn't discredit their players just on a series like this. Yeah, this looks to be a massive cleanup. Alright, GG's coming out. Well done, Tete. Was a pretty nice series from you, and then, I don't know. I like this guy. He's being nice. I think he's played pretty well. He just run into a better opponent, and that just happens sometimes.